Good morning. Thanks for joining us. This is Bree, for those of you that may or may not know me. I am the digital marketing coordinator for Tucker, so I manage all of our corporate social media as well as help you all be great social media gurus as well and run your business on social media. So that's what I do. Today we're going to get way back into the very beginning and start talking about some basics. And we'll have, I think, one of these a month, right?
Yeah.
Up through the end of the year. Christy and Lissa will be covering for me for a few months while I'm out on maternity leave this summer.
If you want extra entertainment as we tumble through.
Yes, join them. But for today, we're just doing basics. So we're just talking about Facebook basics for your personal page. We're not going to discuss business pages today. You are all muted right now, and if you have questions, just go ahead and raise your hand. I have the questions digitally, yes. I have the question box opened and ready to answer those questions if you guys have any. But I will keep this pretty short and sweet for you guys and let you get back to having a bomb Monday and being cold, because that's what today is outside. Okay, so to start, the Facebook Foundation, it's basically built on three basic things: posting, expanding your network, and engaging with that network. It sounds basic, but I guess it takes time to do all three of those aspects of Facebook, but that is what Facebook is built around. First things first, so when you have your Facebook profile, your personal page, now mine is very, very very descriptive, I guess, because if you do know me, you guys know that I have kind of an entrepreneurial spirit as well outside of Tucker, and I have some of my own things that I do as well. So I like to include that on my personal page. Basically, you want to update that intro and that bio part to the best that you can, because you kind of keep in mind, what do I want people to know about me when they leave this profile? Why would they want to friend me? Why would they want to accept my friend request? So you want to give them like a little snapshot of who you are and what you do. And you do that by updating your bio, by updating your intro, which is that very top. I don't know if you can see my little mouse, but this very top portion up here right under intro. I can log in and show you guys too. Maybe. If I remember. That's going to be hard to do. Well, does she have her stuff upside down? Anyway, so your bio, your intro, is pretty short. So there's only, I want to say, like 200 characters or 160 character limit. So you want to use one word like adjectives that describe you, or maybe just like a one or two sentence of who you are and what you do. You want to keep it exciting, and you want to keep it, I guess, interesting. You don't want to be, I'm a realtor with FC Tucker in Indianapolis, because why does that set you apart from anybody else in Indianapolis who's a realtor? You want to stand out, and you want people to want to know more about you. Make sure you update where you work. So if you do not have that you work for FC Tucker Company, you need to put that in there, because that's going to cover you for marketing purposes, for digital and our regular marketing policy. So that's going to cover you. So if you do not have that, definitely do that. That needs to be the first thing that you do. And then you need to update your profile photo and your cover photo. So your profile photo is the little tiny square, and that needs to be of you. That doesn't need to be of your dog. That doesn't need to be of your grandkids, your kids, a family photo. It really doesn't need to be of you and a group of your girlfriends or your guy friends or whatever the case is, because you want it to be of you. Because when you're writing people, when you're telling them happy birthday, when you're sending them messages, when you're engaging in a Facebook group, like a mom group or a dad group or a realtor group that you're a part of, you want people to know that it's you that they're talking to. Because if you there was one time that I had somebody add me as a friend, and I think they were sisters. In the photo, it was two women, and it was obviously a girl who was adding me, and I could not for the life of me figure out who was adding me, because there were two girls in this photo, and I couldn't figure out who it was. So I really needed to kind of scroll through that page and scroll through photos to kind of figure out who was adding me. So just don't make that extra step for people. Just make the profile picture of you. Make sure it's clear. Make sure it's focused. Make sure it's not blurry. Can they see that on that side? Okay. Okay. your cover photo. So that's the long photo at the very top of your page. And that can be anything that you want it to be. So if you are passionate about Disney World, like Lissa is, you can have that cover photo be, the kind of landscape photo of Disney World. If you have dogs, or if you have cats, if you have grandkids, if you have a huge family photo that you want to share, that's where you can put that photo. You can put your passions in there. You can put quotes in there. What makes you you? That's where you can kind of be a little bit more lenient on your photo. But at the end of the day, what do you want people to know about you when they leave your profile? Why should they friend you, and why should they accept your friend request? So just make that intro and that bio section as detailed as you can and as interesting as you can. The featured photos, I forgot to add. So on this example that I'm showing you, this is my profile. I have 9 photos here. It used to only be allowed that Facebook would only allow you to have 6 photos. They've updated that to have 9. However, I don't know if everybody has that option. Sometimes Facebook releases updates, a few at a time, so not everybody gets that update at the same time. So you can upload whatever photos you want in there. So this is where you can kind of be personal. You can kind of add your passions in there. If there's a quote that stands out to you, you can put that in there. Just special photos of your life. Obviously, you can tell just by looking at my featured photos that I'm a mom. I have a little girl. I have a dog. I'm married. Well, I guess I don't have to be married on here. But through photos, I am with someone. There's a quote that stands out to me. I have that in there. And then I was Mrs. Indiana in 2014. You can't really see the date on the sash. But that was a significant part of my life. So I put that in there as well. So any photos that you love and that mean something to you, that describe you, that make you you, that's where you can put those featured photos. Okay, so the first of the 3 basics that we talked about in the very first slide of the foundation is posting. Obviously, if you have Facebook and you are not posting at all, you really need to step up your game this year in 2019. If you have Facebook and you're wanting to grow your business on Facebook and you're not posting at least once a day, you need to step that up as well. So posting, you need to be posting at least once a day. I try to, and I'm going to tell you that you need to be consistent, but there are times that life does get in the way and, you're busy and things are going on and you forget to post that day. Like yesterday, I posted in my stories on Facebook and Instagram a lot, but I didn't physically post on my page, and I totally forgot because I'm like, well, I'm active on here, I'm engaging, and I'm adding, and I'm on my stories, but I didn't physically post to my profile that day, yesterday. So, but I do try to post at least once a day, if not twice a day, kind of spaced out. So be consistent. You want to be intentional with your posting, meaning don't just post to post. Don't just share a funny video because you're like, ooh, I need to post something on Facebook today, because that's not going to help your algorithm. That's not going to help your business. That's not going to help your engagement or expansion of networks. It's not going to help anything. You really want to post intentionally. So you're educating when you're posting, you're being personal, you're sharing, a DIY or a tip or a passion or a hobby. You are my other ones, you're educating. So you're educating, meaning you can be educating on real estate. You can be educating on, a new kitchen gadget that you just got. You can be asking for recommendations. You can be sharing stuff of value. So at the end of the day, just think, is this going to add value to the people that I am friends with on Facebook? If your answer is no, or if you think that you're not real sure, then probably maybe reevaluate your post a little bit.
One good way, like as far as an item of value, we got buckets of snow this weekend, obviously. So if you were to post something about your favorite snow removal company, who also happens to be a home services vendor out there, you can make it, casual and fun, a picture of your snowy backyard, but then also include a link to, if you need help with snow removal, contact these people. So it's not so pushy, it's fun, but you're providing that item of value, and that is a resource for snow.
Yes. And then another way to just be personal. If you have kids or you have dogs that love playing in the snow, if you went out there and A, didn't take pictures of your kids or your pets in the snow, or B, took pictures and didn't post them, you're missing out. Because I scrolled through Facebook and Instagram over the weekend, and that's all I saw were families sledding and building things in the snow, and it was cute, it was fun, and it shows your personal side, it shows your family, and that's what we want to be on Facebook. We want to be personal, because you want to be relatable, and you want people to know that, yes, I'm a real person, I'm not just a real estate agent. This very last bullet point on here, create your This Is Me list. So if you've taken any of my Facebook classes, or if you've met with me one-on-one, you know that I have you do this. So really, this is just creating a list of things that you're passionate about outside of real estate, because, you are all more than just a real estate agent. You are all more than, somebody that works for FT Tucker and buys and sells homes. Like, you are more than that. You have more passions than that. You have hobbies. You are a mom. You're a dad. You're a dog dad. You have cats. You have hobbies and passions outside of real estate. So make this list, and you want to kind of narrow it down to like 5 or 10 things that really make you you. And this will help for your planning of content. This will help for ideas when you wake up the next day, you're like, ooh, I don't know what to post today. You can run through your list of, This Is Me list and figure out one of those topics that you can post about. Okay, the next part of that foundation of Facebook is expanding your network. So I get a lot of the times when I open with, you need to be posting once a day, the very, very, very first thing that almost 90% of the people tell me is, well, isn't that going to be annoying? Well, no, because A, you're posting items of value, you're giving recommendations, you're asking for recommendations, you're being personal, you're sharing your family, you're being intentional. And on the flip side of that, no, you're not going to be annoying, because you're going to be constantly having new eyes on your post. So by getting those new eyes on your post, you need to be expanding your network every day. Adding, 3, I'd say 5 to 20, but you can add 3 to 5 a day, and that's still expanding your network. Social media is your handshake. So when you 10, 15 years ago, you walked in, you physically walked in, you got out of your car, and you walked into a place for a networking event, and you shook people's hands in person. These days, those don't happen as often, and social media is your handshake. So you want to make sure you have a very strong handshake. So you want your profile updated. You want your posting to be consistent. You want your engagement to be consistent, because when somebody comes to your profile, they want to see that you're active, and that provides a very strong handshake for you. So always be expanding your network and adding new friends. 5,000 is Facebook's friend limit. I know that sounds totally unreachable, but I promise you it's reachable. In August, I think, of last year, I had about 1,200 friends, and I think today I'm at like 4,990 something. I was trying to find how many friends I have. I'm close to 5,000. But I'm constantly expanding my network. I'm doing that every day, every evening, every morning. And you're not going to stay at 5,000. So the whole point of that is, yes, you reach that 5,000 limit, but you don't want to stop there. You want to kind of remove those people that maybe aren't active on your page, or people that maybe you haven't seen or spoke to in 15 or 20 years that really isn't, providing a good business contact for you. So you want to make those adjustments as you go. Once you hit that 5,000 limit mark, you'll want to remove people. And then re-add, because you want to keep new eyes on your posts at all times. So how do you find new friends? So Facebook does a lot of this work for you. There's a little button at the very top of your kind of like blue bar when you're on Facebook. It says your name, and then it says home, and then there's a button that says create, and then there's a button that has 2 little people in it, and that is your friend request tab. So if you click on that little tab, it's going to open up like a little drop down, and it's going to show you that however many friend requests that you may or may not have, and then it's going to show you how many people that you may know, that Facebook thinks that you may know, or Facebook thinks that you might want to connect with. Lissa is signed on to her profile right now, and she's got about 15 friend requests that she needs to do something with.
Yeah.
But at the very bottom of that, oh my gosh, Lissa. At the very bottom of that, there will be a button that says people you may know or suggested friends. And that's just Facebook's way of bringing up a list for you that they've created on their own and done all the work for you. So you're not out there searching for all these people to add. Facebook's done the work for you. Now, that doesn't mean that you go through and you add all those people that Facebook suggests, because sometimes Facebook will suggest somebody that you want nothing to do with. Or you don't want to be associated with. So you really want to kind of vet those profiles a little bit. You want to open those profiles up. You want to kind of browse and see, what does the profile tell you about that person? Is that somebody that you want to be friends with? Is that somebody that you wouldn't mind seeing updates from in your feed all day, every day? But at the end of the day, when you're expanding your network, you are real estate agents. So you want to focus on Indiana, people in Indiana, but you don't want to limit yourself to Indiana just because, everybody has to buy a house eventually. So, and we have a great referral network right here in-house in Tucker that you can refer in and out of. So you don't want to limit yourself to just people in Indiana, because you can still make money by referring out of state. Local business pages. So if you were to go to your favorite, let's say your favorite, Indianapolis Colts, that's probably not anybody's favorite right now, but
we still love them.
We still do love them, you're right. But we might be a little bitter as of right now. So, but let's say you go to the Indianapolis Colts website, or their business Facebook page, and you look through their posts and you see that, 75 people liked the post, 10 people commented, 3 people shared. So if you click on those numbers, you can kind of start opening up profiles on there. Because 90% of the time, if they're interacting with a local business page, they're probably local. That doesn't mean that everybody, outside of Indiana is not a Colts fan, because there are Colts fans outside of Indiana. However, I would say 75, 80, 90% of the time when you're looking at a local business page, those people are going to be local, and those people are going to be active on Facebook. So you can click on those likes, you can click on the comments and start looking through profiles and start adding people that way. My favorite one is just to go to your friends. So, like a past client. So say you have a past client that you are friends with, and you go to their page and you click their friends, and then you can look through their friends as well. Facebook groups. So if you're a part of any mom groups on Facebook, if you're part of any sports groups on Facebook, or I'm actually in I think Love of Labs or Black Lab Lovers or something. Because my dog is mostly Black Lab, so I got added into this group that everybody has a Black Lab. So it's constantly pictures of dogs. So if you have a Black Lab, I highly suggest looking at that one, because it's pretty cute. But if you're in Facebook groups like that, you can start looking through profiles. You can start engaging in that group, asking questions, answering questions, etc. But really, the whole point of expanding your network is just you're making meaningful connections every single day, which is our goal, because we are in a relationship building business. And the last of the 3 of the foundations of Facebook is engaging with your network. So you can't, if you think that you can just get on Facebook and make your post for the day, add 3 friends, and then sign off and not get back on until tomorrow, you are wrong. You really, really, really have to engage with your network. If you're not engaging, you're probably not receiving engagement either, meaning Facebook is engagement-centric, so it revolves around engagement. So if you're not, engagement is liking and commenting. So if you're just scrolling through Facebook and you're just commenting, I just had a question. I want to answer this really quick before I finish my slide. Is there a limit to how many Facebook groups you can belong to? There is not a limit, not that I'm aware of. The only bad thing about Facebook groups is you can be added to all of them and not know. So I highly suggest getting on, if you go to your home page, so if you click home when you're on Facebook, and on the left-hand side, if you're on your computer, on the left-hand side, you can scroll down that favorites bar and click on groups. And that's where you can see all the groups that you're associated with, that you've already joined, or the Facebook join groups that you've been invited to. So I highly suggest kind of doing a clean out of that once a month, just because you do get invited to groups that you either didn't see the notification for, or you don't want to be a part of that group, etc. But no, I don't believe there's a limit to be with groups you can be involved in. I think you'd be involved in as many as you want. However, I wouldn't just go in and start joining groups if you're not planning on being engaging in them. Don't be a lurker, is what I like to say. So that's engagement. So engagement is likes, comments, and shares. Facebook favors shares and comments. So you can't just scroll through Facebook and like, because that's not helping your algorithm. That's not helping the other person's algorithm. That's not going to help people like your page or to get more likes on your post or to get more comments. So if you're liking posts, you really need to be commenting as well. I don't like to share things. I know Facebook puts a lot of emphasis on sharing. They put some more points, those fake points associated with sharing. And I shouldn't say that I don't like sharing, because I do, but I only like to share if it's going to add value to my circle. If I can relate to it, I can share it. If I can't relate to it, I'm not going to share it. If it's just funny, I'm probably not going to share it on my page, just because that's kind of ruin my aesthetic, I guess, of my page. But the other day, and I didn't really even share this from somebody, I just shared off of YouTube, I think. But if you're friends with me, you saw the video that I posted about the guy eating dark chocolate, and that was hilarious. And it actually got me really good engagement, and I got a couple shares off of that. So just be intentional with your posts. Again, I'm going to go back to that. And you really need to be engaging with your network at least once a day, up to like 3 times a day. So I usually say morning, noon, and night, meaning first thing in the morning, so before you get your day started, scroll through Facebook for 5 or 10 minutes, engage with some people, and then you can get off around lunchtime, and then before you go to bed in the evening. But really, I'm pretty positive that we all scroll through Facebook more than 3 times a day. And so if you're on Facebook and you're scrolling, make sure you're scrolling with intention. There's a couple other ways that you can make sure that you're engaging with your entire network, and that is, there's 2 ways. There's the ABC method, and then there's the friend list. I'm not going to go into detail with those just because we will have 2 separate webinars later this year, this summer, I think, on engagement. So if you have questions before then, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to discuss that with you. I just don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on it during the webinar, because we will have another one specifically for engagement later on in the year. Responding to people who comment on your post. So if you're just posting and then you're letting all these people comment and then you're not responding back to them, you're missing the boat, and you really need to start responding back to them. Because if they're taking the time to respond to you or to comment, you need to take the time to respond back. Reaching out. So there is something that I've kind of been testing, and I really can't tell you what's better, one way or the other, but when I get on Facebook, pretty much guaranteed every day there's going to be at least one birthday. So my favorite thing to do is to physically send that person a message, a private message, and tell them happy birthday, because they see my face, they have to open the message, 90% of the time they're going to respond, but I've also write on their wall too. The only reason I really like to send a message is because I know that there's so many times that I miss notifications, and Facebook blows up on your birthday. I mean, it really does. So when you have a birthday, you can get hundreds of comments in one day, and that's a lot of time that you're having to scroll through and look and see everybody that's commented on your page to tell you happy birthday. And if you don't own a business, or if you're not on social media to, engage or build a business or do marketing, you're probably not going to respond to every comment. So they will be missed, and you'll just, the next day do a blanket post and say thank you all so much for the birthday wishes and be done. But if you're in the marketing world and you are building a business on Facebook, you really need to be responding back to people and reaching out, even if it's just on a Monday and it's a past client or it's a current client, and you may have not touched base with them lately, just send them a message and say, just thinking about you today, happy Monday. So that's what I mean by reaching out. Okay, some closing points. A couple closing points, and then we'll be finished. So basically, just remove your romantic feelings on Facebook. If you have not heard me say that before, that's one of my favorite things to say. Just don't stop getting in your own way. So get on Facebook, do your business, build your business, be genuine, be personal, be relatable, and stop caring about what other people think, or stop worrying about, what are my friends going to think if I'm posting every day? Because you're not going to be posting every day in a spammy way. You're going to be posting every day in a valuable way and an intentional way. So just don't care. Just stop caring what other people think. Facebook is no longer just a place to keep your friends and family updated. So it is your professional handshake. Obviously, we want to be personal. We want to be relatable, so we can still keep friends and family updated. So that's not just what Facebook and social media is for anymore. The three basics, so posting, expanding your network, and engaging your network are the foundations of Facebook. Be confident in your passion. So if you are passionate about cooking, or if you're passionate about dogs, or if you're passionate about fitness or something else, just be confident in that. And when you're posting in that, be confident in that that is your passion and that's what you're posting about. And then be intentional with your scrolling and posting. So be consistent, be intentional. Don't just get on Facebook and blindly scroll. You want to be intentional with that. Okay. That is all I have for you guys. So that is just the very basics of Facebook. And like I said, we have one webinar a month through the end of the year on all different kinds of topics, and I think they're all listed on the toolbox on the ADC calendar if you want to get on there and pre-register for those. Otherwise, that's all I have for you. I'll give you a couple seconds if you guys have any questions. And if not, feel free to send me an email or a Facebook message or whatever the case is. Give me a call if you want to sit down one-on-one with me. I do those a lot, and I'm happy to do that. So if you guys have any questions and want to talk about a strategy or content planning or maybe just some ideas that you have on social media, feel free to reach out to me and we'll get that scheduled. Okay. If there are any questions, thank you guys so much for joining me on this very cold Monday morning, and we will see you next month.